Well, good morning, Mitt. Good morning, T-Rex. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, people. 51 degrees past 9 o'clock. Let's go slow, Rex. No, let's go slow. Slow. Steve, go ahead. All right. Mitt will be back in just a few minutes. Well, look at the palette of gray. The water is a reflection of the sky. Gray sky, gray water. I see a couple of bright spots in the sky. I believe we have 2 layers of cloud this morning. The way I'm deducing that, not through this satellite image. Look at that, just a solid cloud covering most of the eastern United States. I'll close in on the northeast here in a second. First, I want to go to the velocity azimuth display, this radar out of Taunton, Massachusetts. It only works if it detects some particles, like water particles in the atmosphere. So down low, you see the west-southwest breeze, about 10 knots. And then there's nothing until you get up to about 25,000 feet. And then it's close to 100 knots from the west. So those are the cloud layers, I believe, this morning. One at around 1,000 feet. That's what we're looking at right here. And then there's a whole bunch of clear sky. If jet takes off, you'll be between the clouds coming out of Logan until you get up to about 25,000 feet. Then there's a layer of overcast. Now, I think you can make that out on this satellite imagery here of the Northeast. You see the texture of the cloud in southern New England is different than the texture of cloud in northern New England, where it's a low, thin cloud, I believe, with fog. Often when you have a warm front around, you have fog, a cloud touching the ground. And it's not a convective type fog. That is, it's not radiational cooling. It's an advective fog. Advective fog means it moved in along with a warm front. There are actually 2 fronts. One stalled in central New England and another off the mid-Atlantic coast. So kind of cool in northern New England this morning, but we're saturated. The black number is the temperature. The blue number is the dew point. Notice temperature and dew point together in the low to mid 30s in northern New England. Very foggy day on the ski slopes, but not a lot of wind. Go to the Mount Washington observation this morning. It's almost isothermal. Look at that. The temperature 32, 33 degrees for the bottom 5,000 feet of the auto road. Then it's still just below freezing at the top of the auto road. And the wind even is just 35 miles an hour. I forget what direction, west? You know, I have no script and I can't actually see what I'm talking about. I got to memorize it. I look at it before I get out of the sack. So anyhow, mostly cloudy day. In southern New England, I think we're mostly dry. Northern New England, drizzle. There's an area of rain and snow at the very northernmost parts of Maine that's moving out. So I'm going to defer now to the NAM. It's a high-resolution regional model. And remember the clock from yesterday's debacle, clock debacle? The upper left there, 0Z, 7 p.m., 1Z, 8 p.m., remember all that? 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m., a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Blue is snow, green is rain. Not much in the morning, but oh, all of a sudden, 15Z, 16Z, 17, 18. Now we're getting into tomorrow afternoon, 18Z, 19Z is about, what, 19? Stop. 19 minus 5 is 14 minus 12. 2 p.m. We have rain and elevation snow breaking out in central New England. It is complicated. I want to just halt there and go to a still map from the government. The still map showing tomorrow morning with low pressure over Illinois, a low pressure over West Virginia, a low pressure east of New Jersey, another one in Georgia. And to the north of all that, high pressure in Ontario and Quebec. It's a decent looking high. It's pretty cold, not as cold as last week. Last week it was low barometer. This week it's high barometer. So high barometer cold means kind of an inversion. The warmer air goes over the top of the colder air. Anyhow, to have a high in northern, high north of us tomorrow means the air is coming from the north, and due to the Coriolis force, the air is coming. Wind is air winding from high to low pressure. It doesn't come in a straight line. It curves to the right. So that's a wind from the northeast all the way into southern New England tomorrow. All right, now let's go back to the motion here. Get into 20Z, 21Z, 22Z tomorrow evening. That is snow across the higher elevations of central and northern New England. And then it kind of shuts off in southern New England, about a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. In northern New England, it tries to keep on going into Monday. So let's go now to the Monday morning map from the government. See where that L is way up there? We just saw that on the NAM too, with the low near Burlington, Vermont, and then that orange line out to another low near Nova Scotia. I believe that boundary is too far north. I think that low is not going to make it that far north. So I believe that more of New England may be in the precipitation and on the colder side here on Monday. Either way, there's not too much in the way of sunshine. I don't think we're going to see much sunshine for a week. We might not see much sunshine until the second week of December, the way things look on the map this morning. And let's go now to the wider view, the Euro on the pivotalweather.com. And this the time goes by very fast up there. I believe it's 3-hour increments. So you go 3Z, 6Z, 12Z. 12Z again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. There's the low pressure systems. Now the Euro has had this all along. So the Euro did best. GFS had nothing for tomorrow and Monday. And look at that wall of blue in the northeastern United States. Quite a battle zone between the warmer air trying to come north and the colder air fighting from the north. And then it finally wanes a little bit there on Tuesday. And now the wild card we've been talking about, what happens Wednesday? There's going to be a diminishing system northern New England, a new low trying to take over south, and it tries to snow even in eastern Massachusetts a little bit on Wednesday night into Thursday. And then all of a sudden, here comes a warm front Wednesday night, Thursday morning, coldest of the week. And then that warm front comes in here with more snow for western and northern New England on Thursday. We get into the warm sector a little bit Friday into early Saturday, and then here comes a cold front on Friday night into Saturday with the black lines sharpening up and new cold air advection coming in next Saturday. So one thing you did not see coming over us in the next 7 days is a high pressure system. It's mostly to our north, so it's going to be fairly cold and fairly gray with off and on rain and elevation snow. How much snow? Well, we might as well go to the NAM for the first 48 hours here anyhow. And violet is 6 inches, purple is 12. So that pretty much matches up with what we've been saying, with the elevations getting close to 12 inches of snow. I think this is centered a little too far south, but you may be looking at snow tomorrow afternoon at Crotched Mountain. And we'll be heading north into Vermont, and the snow is very deep in northern Vermont, and it's going to get deeper. I went on the record calling for 18 inches of snow at Jay Peak. You know, Jay is kind of unique, but I think all of us are going to get about a foot of snow, and it's going to be low density on top. So in other words, your heavier wet snow falls tomorrow a few inches, then it gets colder on Monday, and especially Tuesday into Wednesday as the snow diminishes, but it'll be powdery few inches on top. So more great base material, really looking at sensational snow coverage, even though down here, probably not much snow at all. Next couple of weeks just doesn't look like it. That Wednesday system's something to watch, but that's fine with me. I don't mind if it just snows in far northern New England, ski country. No problem with that. All right, you know, this is the old Kent estate here. That house has been rebuilt, but Jeff Kent grew up here, and he's got a passion for ice boating, much like his dad did, and his family went ice boating here all around. Well, anyhow, his friend flew in from Germany, and they drove about 1,300 miles to central Minnesota, Ashby, Minnesota, to go ice boating this weekend. Look at that little craft there. How do you even fit on there? They go fast. Anyhow, there's a lake there. It's called Christina, and Jeff also says, we got a special treat. The Northern Lights lit up. I'm not sure whether that was last evening or the evening before, but thank you very much, Jeff Kent, for sharing that. And also my nephew Danny yesterday did the head wall at Mount Mansfield Stowe. The head wall, even in the middle of the winter, often has a rope across it because it's sheer ice. Well, it wasn't sheer ice yesterday. It was nice soft snow and grass. Take that over sheer ice anytime. There's not too many rocks there. It's just grass. Thank you guys for sharing that stuff. So I don't have a lot of it more. That was kind of half of it right there. Let's check the rain gauge. It was raining last evening. 0.09 so far. Probably end up with another ½ inch tomorrow or so, maybe a little greater. Last evening was moving some leaves. It doesn't even look like that leaf pile got any bigger, did it? But it did. 4 of those barrels, what's that? I don't know, 60, 70 gallons. 4 of those barrels of leaves, they'll compress down to practically nothing. Oh, there's Steve resting on Bodie's plaque. Bodie and Steve look very similar. Both Maine Coon cats. Can we look at this? Can you just get off there for a minute? We want to read Bodie's plaque. Bodie, January 2011 to September 2020. Anyhow, we love our pets, and I'm glad you guys like them too. All right, T-Rex, nice quiet. Not too windy this weekend, and we'll pick up from the northeast tomorrow. Real fascinating weather. I know seasonal affective disorder is a thing. People get sad when there's very little light, and this is going to be probably one of the darkest weeks of the entire year, or maybe even winter. And the earliest sunsets of the season are, I think, about Monday through about the 12th or 13th, around 4:11 p.m. Then the sunsets started getting a little bit later, but our shortest days come in. The solstice now just a couple of weeks away, and not too much sun in there. Make the best of it. A lot of holiday festivals. Hingham, Massachusetts, right down the road. Hay rides today, midday. They're going to do that every Saturday, going into Christmas. Lots of things. Lots of tree lightings going on. Pembroke tree lighting this afternoon. So just look around for something fun to do. And I hear Christmas trees are hard to find, but I hear that every year. And I'm not concerned. And maybe we'll show you tomorrow in more us picking up a tree. Maybe. All right. Sorry. Went a long way there. Thanks for your patience. Talk to you later.
Tim, this one's for you. Looking for the grassiest spots. And we got them here on National. See, when skiing in the Northeast, this is what you want to look for, the good quality terrain like this. This moss is very good for cutting into.
Tanker of the day. I can't quite read that. My eyes aren't so good. Get that part though. Golden Energy. Black Gold, Texas Tea. Next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Ken folks said, move away from here. Beverly Hills. Oh, here we go. Energy. Can't do it. Radney? Oh well. That's the Independence. I read all about that the other day. Beautiful. 55 degrees, gray sky. We've got a warm front moving in. It's a dry warm front so far, but expect a couple of raindrops later. This is a provisional and more. Because you never know what the rest of the day is going to bring. I got to get my binoculars so I can read that thing. Energy Ariadne Douglas. What does that even mean? Very nice. I don't think I have very much in more. I'm gonna go do a little evening raking. Oh, I forgot to put up the Christmas lights. Still gonna be fairly mild for our Saturday. Looking at Independence. Heading back to wherever port is, I assume in Boston somewhere. Underneath that gray sky, looks like a little Virga beginning. Rain on the horizon. May get a little damp this evening. Virga? Yeah, that's precipitation coming out of the clouds and evaporating before it hits the ground. It'll probably get a little damp this evening. Anything in the rain gauge this morning? Maybe a little. Some fat raindrops. Some fat maple leaves. But they're still relatively fluffy. And I figure I'd take some off my neighbor's hands, feed them to the compost pile across the street. I don't think the heavy stuff's coming in for a while. A little bit like piles of snow. They do shrink down to practically nothing by springtime. Turn them over, I didn't even know they were there. Fluffy. Can't unload them with one hand though. Okay. In there. Neighborhood's gradually lighting up. Looking good. I've been kind of cheating with just the red and green so far. But look at that red rose. How about that? Yeah.